What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at BetBoom Dacha Belgrade season 2, and we have this kind of lineup from the previous event, which was Blast Showdown. Base players did well, Ixon and Floppy not really, and Elish not good enough for his price. He did super well at the beginning, and then Complexity just didn't do very well after that, so unfortunately only a top 42%, and it's starting to look quite bad for me when it comes to the overall fantasy leaderboard. Like, we are very far behind. Of course, it's only been 6 games, but I think there's not going to be that many games in this season. Like, I think it's probably slightly shorter than the last season. So I think it might be time to make at least a couple riskier choices. I'm not saying I want to go super differential. I don't say that I want to go for the weirdest of picks, but I might be going for some calculated risks, if you will. So BetBoom Dacha, we have here the most picked players. I'm gonna be avoiding at least some of them, I think, is the thought process here. And this is the bracket. The reason why it took me this long to make the video is because we didn't know the seeding, because the playing stage took a very long time, and yeah, we needed to get the seeding done so I could know that which team is on which side of the bracket, especially if I want to go for some of those differential options. Upper side of the bracket, I would say Mouse and Eternal Fire are honestly some of the favorites on that side. I think Eternal Fire have a good amount of firepower, but I think just Mouse, usually in this tier of game, is going to do quite well. I would bet on them to win against Eternal Fire. Heroic versus Pain. I think we've seen some pretty good stuff from Pain lately. There's some decent individuals there. Heroic have been playing quite poorly, so I do think Pain is going to win there. And then I would say that Mouse wins against Pain in the upper semis and makes it to the upper finals. There's a double elimination kind of system here where the winner of the upper final plays against the winner of the lower final in the actual final. So no team is eliminated after one loss, but you would ideally have, I would say, the teams that make it here. Lower side, VP versus Furia is pretty hard to call, to be honest. VP is the sort of team that I hoped would do a lot better going into this season, but haven't really shown that. Whereas Furia have shown at least some glimpses of being quite decent, but I would say VP slight favorites. But on their day, Furia can definitely win this. Very hard to call in my eyes. And then we have Spirit Falcons. And this might be, honestly, the matchup where I go for that riskier pick. It's hard to say, though. The thing is, like, Spirit is coming into this cold, whereas Falcons have already played on that stage, have already played in the play-in. Falcons have actually been kind of winning games, which is weird to say. Of course, they've been playing against lower tier opposition than Spirit, but also Spirit have had some struggles where they were looking to be like the best team in the world, honestly, before the player break and during the first half of the year. They were looking to be at least one of the best teams in the world, and now they're kind of falling off, I would say. They just have had some weird struggles against teams that they shouldn't have struggles against. And their prices are still pretty high when it comes to, well, the pricing, I would say, and comparison to what they have recently been doing. So honestly, I think just in terms of, like, these Falcons players are slightly underpriced in comparison to how they've been doing lately, like super lately, and then I would say Spirit is slightly overpriced. I also think on their day, Falcons can definitely win against VP or Furia here. So, I don't want to have too high of an amount of expectations for this, but I do think I'm going to go double up on Falcons, ignore Spirit, go for double Mouse, and then a filler player from these teams. And there's one player I already have my eye on, and he's already quite highly picked, and that's Kawes. Recent ratings pretty much over 1.0 for a player who was 183k, and he has a very nice headshot percentage, so you can just throw that roll on him. I think that is just a great pick when it comes to the budget enablers. And I do think Pain is going to win against Heroic here. So the question becomes, who do I want from Falcons? I think that's the real question. And one player does jump out to me where Dupree is like this third highest price player, but highest past 3 months rating. He's been very reliable for his team. I think he gets put into pretty good positions. So yeah, Dupree is just someone I'm looking at quite heavily. I think any of them at these prices could be a decent option. Of course, we know that Sampaios is able to be a really menacing force on the server, but we haven't quite seen that lately from him. So I think I might be ignoring Sampaios here. It's quite close, but I think I have a pretty nice build or a pretty nice set of 5 players, and Sampaios probably doesn't fit into that. I think Magisk, definitely a reliable player as well, just as Dupree. Great support run percentage, and decent price, I would say, for his skill set. Snuppy, of course, for that price, like if they start winning, he might be really good. You can throw maybe IGL on him and hope that they just go really ham, because there's a lot of skill in this lineup. It was always a matter of when do they start playing together or do they have to make changes, and right now it feels like all of them might be kind of fighting for their place in the squad with the news of Nico potentially coming in to replace one of them. But yeah, I would say Modern is the second player I want to go for, just based on the fact that I think money-wise it fits the best for what I want to do. And then, as I said, Kawes as this budget 5th player. And then we have a lot of money, and this fits perfectly for this combination of Chimpat Broland. I think both of them have been very good. I think Chimpat may be in a slight downturn, and that's why his price is slightly lower than Jimmy and Zershin, whereas before it used to be that Chimpat was even 5k more expensive than some of these guys. But I think for that price, he's like really good value and has really high ceiling. And getting to go without Shuhei, who's like by far the most picked player in the event, and for good reason, means that if Shuhei doesn't quite pop off and Mao still really destroy opponents, these two definitely can be up on top of that scorecard, whereas the probability of that happening is with Shuhei is lower. I have pretty high expectations for Mouse in this event. I think this is the sort of event they should be looking to win in order to prepare for some of the bigger events later down the year, and getting that stage experience, getting that experience of winning on stage, I think. Whereas maybe Spirit don't have quite that same hunger right now. There was this interview with Chopper, in which he said like there's unlikely to be changes before or after the major, and I mean it shows that they trust this group of 5 players, but also I think I really would want to start seeing some results from them in like more dominant results from them again in order to start picking them. I was quite disappointed to own double, even just Chopper in that one event, where they went like 0-4. Maybe this is gonna be the rebound event for them, and I'm gonna look silly going for a double Falcons. But if that happens, then it happens. So yes, I said headshots for Awes. I haven't actually looked at roles with this lineup, so hopefully they make at least some sense. Jimmy with probably support, making the most sense. Yeah, that's good. Roland probably on T-side rating, actually. He's usually very good on that. Yeah, let's go for that. And then Mod and Dupree. I haven't actually looked at their ratings too much here. Multifragger makes sense. It might be... Modern on entry is actually not that high of a percentage. I kind of thought it might be higher. That's not bad either. On the eco-friendly... Let's go with eco-friendly. That looks pretty decent on him. Yeah, I can see him being the kind of player to make those crazy plays with the MP9s and such. And then, yeah, probably going to be multifragger. I honestly don't know the roles of Falcons that much. I haven't watched them play too much just because usually they have been very underwhelming. But yeah, I think this set of roles also works quite well. In terms of boosters, I want to use some of the good boosters or some of the easy to trigger boosters. This should be very, very nice for Jimmy, even though it's not the easiest first matchup, but still. I suppose this makes sense. There's no real super headshot players on heroic. Best pistol, sure. Avenger Modern is actually the highest. That's kind of crazy. Assist Brolan, yeah, makes sense. Use some of the good rolls and boosters early. Yeah, I think that's it. Pretty short video this time around. I don't know. There's not that many decisions. Like, there's definitely decisions to make, but because of the way the season has gone so far, where I've kind of struggled, I want to take some slight risks here. This is a bit of a bigger risk, but I just felt like in all of the other matchups, I don't see it happening, the upset. Like, this is too tight to call. Like, it could go either way, and I don't want to really gamble in that way where it just feels like a flip of the coin. In this, I do feel Pain is just favored. In this, I do feel like Mouse should just be the best team in this event. But in this case, I don't know. I feel like there's at least a chance of the upset. And even if there's no win for Falcons and Spirit end up winning, I think they can actually fight back. And then they can maybe win throughout the lower bracket, if nothing else. So, yeah, I'm taking the gamble. And that's that. If you enjoy this kind of content, please leave a like to this video and remember to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.